Good afternoon, gang. Here I am, back again after a long interval, trying to work out what it is that you really want to speak about, that I really want to talk about. Well, I like talking, and one of the things I like to do is listen, and I'm learning to do that better. But I'd like to talk to you about past life. I hate the word regression, past life therapy. I don't like the word regression because a lot of the medical profession, when they hear regression, they think that we're trying to get people to gloss over or repress or even enhance negative things out of their past, which nothing could be further from the truth. But it is an impression, and we're more or less seen as witch doctors who do it. I've been working with hypnosis for more than 30 years now. It's a fascinating field of study with many ideas pro and against hypnotism and what it is and how it works and whether it's effective or whether it's harmful. And this is even more strident when we get to past life hypnosis or process, as I call mine a past life process, because I see myself as a guide in this process. I was trained by Dolores Cannon and Julia Cannon primarily. I have done quite a lot of work, and I've studied a lot of the prominent people in this field over the last 10-15 years. And I am really excited by what is happening in the field at the moment. It's not an easy job to do. It's not about waving your arms around and suddenly the person drops off into deep sleep and starts telling you about what happens in the past. You have to be quite quiet, yes, but you have to be the guide. You have to be attentive to what is happening and helping the client at each step to express what it is that they're experiencing from, and they experience just as an observer. They are not emotionally involved in the scene. They're observing the scene. So the best way to understand any of this is actually to do one, to take part in a therapy program. And sometimes people get the answers they're looking for in a short amount of time, and sometimes it takes 5 or 6 sessions. Excuse me, that noise you can hear is the cat. I don't have a baby locked away in a back room. And the cat likes to be involved, you see. I have this idea that I'm in charge, but the cat also has an idea that she's in charge. And as she was a queen in a past life, I think she's much more in charge than I am. The kind of regression that I do, it's inspired by Dolores Cannon, and maybe a lot of her students go down into a deep somnambulistic state, and that might have been really important when Dolores was doing long hypnotherapy sessions with her clients. I find that deep relaxation is as effective and is a much gentler and less invasive sort of progression. I'm sure that some of my students, some of my clients, could whiz into a past life whilst we were having a cup of coffee. It's just so close to them that they're with a little bit of coaching, they can get there very quickly. Other people take a long time to do that. The most common thing for somebody to say at the end of a session is, well, was that real or did I make it up? I don't think that anybody has made anything up. It is just that it seems fairly different from their day to day. So that's a good thing. You know, if it was the same as their everyday experience, they wouldn't think it wouldn't make any difference at all to their lives. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a fairy story. And I have to say that even if it was a fairy story, if it helped their lives and gave them a reason, then it would be a good fairy story. Fairy stories are like that. Whether you're reading the Brothers Grimm or Hans Christian Andersen or Aesop or any of the good fairy stories, they are helpful. In fact, South American and American Indians told stories in order for healing to occur. So it's not unusual for narrative medicine to be part of the everyday. So excuse for the tale. I rather think that I am involved in narrative medicine rather than in past life. I think it's a more accurate, less emotive thing to say. And it's probably more accurate. People really have changed their entire lives and got a much better view of themselves, even after one session. So I will keep on talking to you about them. This is the first probably in many sessions. And I will define some of the therapy sessions that I've done because they're extraordinary. I have to say that more persons are coming forward from the future than are going back and coming from the past. But seeing, I think it's possible that we're living in many dimensions at once. It's not unusual, or should it be, that we come from many dimensions at once, that we can explore the many dimensions. Some years back, there was a guy who made a lot of money by inventing a thing he called quantum leaping or quantum jumping or something. And he'd take his clients into a reverie, and then they, just like I do, and then he'd take them down a corridor and they'd open a door and they'd speak to somebody that he said was them, that was doing what they were doing and having trouble with. This person was doing it beautifully and wonderfully, or was, I think that's right, was doing a job or an interest that the client was wanting to explore. This person on the other side of the door in this other life was doing it successfully, and they just had to swap information. Well, it's sort of the same, except we take a whole lot longer, and we explore either side of the experience and have various steps that have worked over, for me, a period of 30 years and many sessions. It's hard to find words when you're dealing with something new. Many sessions. When the steps just seem to be the same, everybody's going through the same steps. They're getting different results, of course, but they're going through the same process to get the maximum result. you wouldn't go through a process to get the minimum result. Well, I don't think so. Just my idea. So I hope that you will come along with me on this journey. I'm not ready yet to train people in it. I've only been doing it for 30 years. I am writing a book about it, or a booklet. People don't read books anymore. There's too many words. I write shorter books so that people are not daunted by the size. I will write a number of them, like I usually do, to explain what it is I'm doing and what it is I'm finding, and hope that you will find the time to come and see me perhaps and have a session with me, and maybe you would like to explore actually becoming a practitioner, although I said I'm not ready to train anybody. Okay, so this is my first video. This is what it is. My first video on the past life process. As you can see, I don't have a script. I have a cat. And I will do more of these with your encouragement, of course. If nobody cares about it, then I won't do any more. But if you care about it, then I would love to do it. It's changing my life, and I hope that it will change yours. Thank you. There's only me here, so I've got to get up and turn it off. I haven't trained the cat to do that yet. Namaste.